Don Norford had just taken over the track team, and he's looking for people to help. I was like, and he asked me to tell you to come see him. Went by his house, so I hung the phone up, knocked on the door. I said, Don, you need me to help you out? He said, John, I'm taking over the track team. I want you to come out there and help me be my high jump coach. But he says, John, I don't have no money to pay you. I said, Don, don't worry about it. I'm not in it for the money. I said, I want to help kids like people who help me, I want to give back and help them out. So 1990 was his first year. And I remember that we went to Oakland Invitational, our very first on-the-road track up in Oakland. We rented vans, drove up, had a good turnout. And then about 2 years later, we had a chance to go to Texas Relays. Okay, Texas Relays is a big event. So, and our team was very, very, very good. Okay, I'm talking about very good. So when we get there, Texas always got these fast teams. So there's another little story that we were in the final for the girls 4x1. So it's 9 lanes. So the announcer, in lane 1 from Oklahoma with the second fastest time in the state. Lane 2, a team from Texas. Lane 3, a team from Texas. So we were in lane 5. They go, lane 5, we'll come back to them. Lane 6, lane 7, lane 8, lane 9. So we're like, wait a minute. So he says, and lane 5, from Long Beach, California, supposedly have ran a time of 45 something. The fastest team in the nation supposed to be Long Beach Poly. So our little section, we whooping it up. So people are looking at us. So it's unethical for a coach to bet on the athletes. So people was gun bumping. So dude next to me, he was like, hey man, y'all that good? I said, man, how much money you got in your pocket? He said, I got about $200. I said, bet all of it on us right now. If we lose, I'll give it back to you. He goes, what? I says, bet on us right now. The guy said, on your mark, get set, go. As soon as he said go, I jumped and said, it's over. We ran around that track, beat everybody. The whole place was quiet for a second, then they started cheering. So after we won the race, we went and got our awards, we walking out, and we left, they was like, Long Beach Poly, put it down, blah, 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 blah. So, as we're talking, Don, I always go by and have a chance to talk to Don more than just about track, about life, about just all kind of stuff. And Don was telling me, he said, John, he says, I got some plans for this track team, and he said, we're going to go to the Penn Relays next year for their senior year. And Penn Relays is like the mecca of track and field.
But Don Norford, speak softly and carry a big stick. I mean, that guy never had to yell, and when he does, people listen, and that's because he never has to. And I think that's so important on a high school football team where not every coach is a yeller. That doesn't work, You need those other guys, and the approach that Don Norford takes, both on the track and on the football field, I really respect.
Don Norford has the craziest stat of any high school coach probably in Long Beach history, which is that he has personally won, with the track teams he coached at Poly, more state championships than any other school in the state has won across all of its programs. So Don Norford has more state championships than Mater Dei. Don Norford has more state championships than Sierra Canyon. I don't think you can really wrap your head around that. I want to say it was 17 state championships or something. But what he did with that track program, I want to say it was 75 individual state champions, 150 individual CIF champions. The numbers don't even make sense. And I think you came to expect it over the course of the 30 years or however long that he was running the program. But, he did all that while being the only assistant coach ever to win the NFL's Coach of the Year award at the high school level, while being a place TJ Hushmanzada and a lot of these other guys who are in the NFL who weren't even Poly alums were training with Don over the summer, just because of how legendary he was at getting people to work. And I think he, maybe more than any other coach, embodies that kind of like we got it out of the mud Poly attitude and mentality. Like, this is a dude who as a kid in the 50s or the 60s was literally watching track meets from along what at the time was California Avenue, what's now MLK. He's peeking through the bushes watching track meets between Poly and Jordan going, I want to go to that school someday. And he said, I wasn't very good on the track, but, he got into coaching quickly, and, he proceeded to just make an unbelievable amount of history.
Poly is successful because of people, and people like Don Norford. So, that's just someone who's synonymous with the school and with the athletic programs that he's worked with. Track and football are two of the most successful, and Papa Don's a big reason for that. But he was also just on campus all the time and really cared about the kids away from competition, away from class, and really cared about that Poly community because he's so ingrained in it since he was younger. And so there's just certain people throughout the history of the school that really make a difference by how involved they are and how much time they dedicate, and who knows how many hours Don Norford has given to Long Beach Poly, but the school's definitely better off for it.
You can give them wisdom that'll last 1,000 years. That things that they can multiply.
When I was a sophomore, I believe I got in trouble, and I think I got arrested for something silly, and it was nothing that I had to go down to the police, precinct and nothing like that. But it was a handcuff situation, and it was all fun. It was all fun and games, and I thought it was a slap on the hand, laugh it off, no big deal. And Don said, I need to see you. I want to talk to you. And I was, all right, Coach, where at? He said, in the bleachers in the middle. And I'm like, what is that all about? So after practice, I go get, changed or whatever, and I get my backpack and all my stuff, and I start going back out to the Poly bleachers. And Coach Don is like waiting on me in the middle of the bleachers, just sitting there looking at MLK Boulevard. So if you ever, back in the day, we had those bleachers, the gold and the green bleachers that face MLK and Calrec Park, and you could just look out and see Long Beach. And I went up there and sat next to him, and he asked me, what am I doing? What are you doing? And I was kind of like, what do you mean? He's like, you're a good student. You're a good football player. You're a good track athlete. Why are you messing up? Like, what's the problem? What's going on with you? Why are you acting like you don't have a future beyond this? And I didn't know where it was coming from. And I felt that it was normal that kids get in trouble, kids do stupid things. But he was kind of like, you have a chance to be different. You have a chance to get out of here. You have a chance to be something productive and come back and help other kids. And I was kind of like, where is all this coming from? It's kind of like I was afraid of the leadership position that God blessed me with, that he gave me attributes that other people gravitate towards. And he saw that in me, and he broke it down for me and what this was going to be. He let me know how my life could be. And then he kind of showed me the other side by telling me about the stories of if I don't choose to be exceptional, if I don't choose to go a different route, how my life would turn out. And it was all true. Everything he, shared with me that day, to this day, I stay on the straight and narrow. I'm a minister at my church. I'm a father to my 2 kids. I'm a husband to my wife, where a lot of my friends are divorced. A lot of my friends have kids out of wedlock. He kind of broke it down to me what God's blessings for me would be. He actually pretty much preached a sermon to me in a half an hour setting of how my life could be blessed or it could be cursed.
Next year, for their senior year. And like Penn Relays is like the mecca of track and field. So we get there, and he got us in town a day early so we can actually go see the stadium. And what's ironic about the stadium at Penn in Long Beach Poly, our old track, we had long straights and short turns. That's how the Penn track was set up. So that was advantage to us, because sometimes you go in a big place, kids are in awe of where they're surrounded. So as we're walking around the track, we see a gentleman walking towards us. He's dressed like in a suit. He says, can we help you guys? And we're like, no, we're out here for the track meet. We've never been to the stadium. Oh, are you guys the Long Beach Poly team? I go, yeah. Oh, come with us, please. So they were just happened to have a meeting with all the top officials of the track. So we walk in. The guy goes, here we have the team from Long Beach Poly here. So some guy says, who's the greatest hurdler that'll come out of Poly? Earl McCullough. No. He knew another man had graduated in like 1930 something. I said, oh, you already know about us, my man, like that. They start laughing. So the head man, I don't know what his name was, he says this. Well, we welcome you guys here. He says, but we're just come to tell you that we're going to show you that track and field started in the East. So I said, hey, my man, we didn't come out here for nothing. What do you think this is? Don said, get him out of here. So we leave. So we qualify for the finals. In the finals, 8 Jamaican teams in Long Beach Poly.
Always was a role model to me. She's still a role model to me to this day. Like, look at her. She's in her 40s and look at her body. Like, that's where I want to be when I get to my 40s.
I'm 50.
First year winning state as a woman, it inspired me because Coach Don has won so many state championships, and we kind of just see Coach Don, but then seeing, okay, now Coach Don left, now a new woman is in charge, a woman that's Black, and she has a kid, and she actually works at Poly too, and she could do the same thing just as Coach Don. It just shows the legacy of Poly and how we really take this seriously to keep the legacy going. So I was really happy for Miss Irving. She's a great woman, she's a great mentor for us, and she deserves everything that's coming her way because she worked so hard for us. Like, I just remember thinking some days, like, how is she doing all this, from making sure we got our plane tickets to passing out uniforms to actually being a coach on the track. She was just doing so many jobs in one, and it really just made me so grateful to have experienced a woman coach at that, like her. So yeah, it was very inspirational. She's a very inspirational woman. I look up to her to this day. We don't really talk like that, but I really look up to her to this day, and I'm just really excited to see what the future holds for Long Beach Poly Track with Miss Irving as the head coach.
Thank you so much, Maya. That means like the world to me because you were there. It was probably my 17th year of coaching was my hardest year because you're right. It was so much doubt just because I'm a woman, and they felt the program's going to go downhill. It's not going to be the same. Not realizing that those 12 championships before, 13 championships before, I was still a part of that. I was still there by Coach Don's side, supporting him as well as our staff that we have now in place. So that means a lot. Thank you so much.
My name is Crystal Irving. I'm the girls athletic director as well as the head men and women's track and field coach. I'm also a full-time PE teacher, and I also am the co-head of our PE department. I'm class of '88 from Long Beach Poly High School. Coach Don Norford, who's also my godfather, was also my coach in high school. High school, where he was just someone who stepped in as a father figure for me. Even though, yes, I have my own dad, I have my own support system, but he just helped me to guide me through high school. Just giving me that constant leadership that I needed at the time. Coming in as a female that was pretty much dominating on the middle school level. At that time, it was junior high school. It was good to come into here and have someone like himself mentor me and help me, grow and just pretty much mold me into part of the person I am today.
Tough to put in one word. I mean, I would say dominant. We were just dominating. I think dominant is the word that comes to my mind.
One word I will describe is just powerful. We were a powerful group of girls. Poly still is a powerful group of, just a powerful school in general. So I just think powerful is the word I would say.
No matter what the circumstances were, no matter what we were going through, no matter what people were saying, no matter what life threw at us, when we stepped on that track, we did what we had to do, and we did it because of the legacy. Like, we knew what we were representing, so I would say unbreakable. Long Beach Poly women, yeah, the track team, we was unbreakable for real.
I'd say undeniable. To be different. You can't deny someone who works hard, who has a strong work ethic, who's powerful, who's strong. So undeniable.
Tough one. I'd say influential. You cannot talk about the sport of track and field at the high school level or just any level without thinking about Long Beach Poly and the caliber of women that have come through at any level, and what we've done individually as well as a program.
Serving, one word?
Role models. Whether it's a young lady in the 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th, everybody looks up to these young ladies from other teams because when they walk on the track, they're confident. We teach our kids to know what to do ahead of time. We don't want to just throw them out there and just say, okay, go run. We put them out there with a purpose. We let them know what that purpose is. And all of them are role models, whether they want to be a role model or not.
The Jamaicans, they use the pin relays as a big recruiting tool for their kids. So it's like a big event. And in certain aspects, 19 is still a teenager, so they're still high school. On the other hand, we have real 15, 16, 17-year-old, a few 18s, no 19s. So when the gun goes off, it's neck and neck. Come down the finish line, Long Beach Pike cross the tape first. The whole stadium, except for the Jamaicans, start hollering, USA, USA, because we were the first team to beat the Jamaicans, period. So like, Long Beach Poly, so they're like, so people coming to us like, shaking our hands and congratulating us. So we go back a couple years later. The guy said, hey man, we glad you guys came back. You know, the last time you guys were here, people have been saying, when y'all coming back? We couldn't believe what you guys had did. So I told the guy, I said, well, this year we got our boys and our girls. So went out there and put it down again. And why Don did this is because, you know, we're trying to get our kids to go to college. So California is a hotbed. So we may have a kid on our track team, a girl. She may run 11.6. Okay, 11.6 out here is decent, but other parts of the country, that's top rank. So we're like, hey, guys, this is a business trip. You go out there and take care of your business. Some of y'all gonna get some offers. And sure enough, they go out there, kids are getting offers, just boom, 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 boom. And like I say, Don did it for the kids. And one thing he always emphasized, as great of a man as he is, it was always we and us. It was never I. He would say me and my assistants. Even though he was the head man, when we talked, he took what we said. If it made sense, that's what we're gonna do. If not, he would say, let's not do it like this, let's do it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that all great leaders listen to their soldiers or their, people below them,
We are we and us. Ain't no I. Ain't no me.
That.
Yeah, I would say some of the traits and characteristics of Don is he taught me to never limit myself and to never settle.
He told me to read the book of Proverbs in the Bible. And just, it basically shaped the woman who I'm continuing to try to be.
When it comes to Don Norford, I would like to say that Don was only hard on the people that he saw something in, and I realized that once I became older, of course. But he sees something that we don't see a lot of the times, and the greatness in us that we don't happen to see until it manifests. And so I really appreciate the fact that he was hard on me when he was hard on me. And like others had mentioned, he would be hard on you when he needed to be, but he was also very loving in times where that was needed as well.
That Coach Don taught me what it really means to be competitive, fostering such a competitive environment every day in practice, learning how to not be intimidated by it, learning how to use it to my advantage. I think that really helped me over the years. And then I learned how to thrive in it rather than be intimidated by it. And I think it really helped my self-confidence when I was lining up. I never thought about any other girl. I never focused on anything but what I had to do. And all I would hear is Coach Don's voice in my head, you know, practicing our breathing coming down the stretch. Like, everything he did, I wouldn't know it in the moment, but later on I would look back and be like, oh, okay, that's what Coach Don was talking about.
Something that he also taught. I'll always remember about Coach Don is he was just a caring person in general. I just remember my freshman year, I used to cramp really bad on my cycle. And I remember one day I had to go home early. I didn't tell anybody. I just left because I was throwing up. I was just really sick. And I remember Coach Don called me and was like, where are you? And I told him, like, I'm in bed crying, I'm cramping. And I just remember he got some of the girls on the team and him, and they prayed for me over the phone. And at first I was kind of embarrassed, like, oh my gosh, everybody knows that I'm at home sick, not missing practice. But then having him pray for me and have the other girls pray for me just made me realize how caring he is often on the track. It's just not all about track. And it made me realize that Coach Don, he's always going to care about us, even if we're not talking or haven't seen each other in a long time. He's always going to have a special place in our heart and in his heart.
He was just like, kind of repeating what everyone said. He's just so caring and so loving and kind, but also he expects the best out of you. And I remember there's a time, well, there was always times where Coach Don would just be like, what's wrong? I'd be like, nothing's wrong. But he would read me and know that there was something wrong with me. And I'd be like, dang, I'm that easily to read. I was like, shoot. And so he would just pull me aside and then have conversations with me. And I knew from the jump when he first did that, like, he really cared, not just about what I could do on the track, but about me personally. And like Maya and Ebony said, like, he would always pray. I remember there was times where he would take me aside and pray over me. And I had never seen anyone do that outside of my own father. So that was incredible to experience that in high school and to hold that so dear to me. And he's just so comforting. He has a way of talking to you that makes you just feel like, you know, I got this, I can do this. So Coach Don, he has a special place in my heart, and I love him to this day. So yeah.
It'll be like for you the first time you get up next year and you don't have to come to Poly to coach.
To be honest with you, that's going to be very hard, because what I'm going to miss more than anything else, Mike, is my relationship with the kids. I'm going to miss that because I treasure that, because that's where you have the biggest impact on the kids. You can give them wisdom that'll last 1,000 years, the things that they can multiply with in their children, and it is such a blessed gift that the Lord has given me, to be able to discern and to be able to look at those kids' heart. And you hear them talking, but be able to look at their heart and see what really is the root of any discomfort or any problems they have.
They know I. They know me.
That is Poly Track right there.